Alright y'all, we're back on Spooky J's Homebrew How-To, and we are almost to game time. We got a couple more things to cover before we can get these dice rolling. Now, I want to talk about two very important pieces to most dice rollers. A, what does every drama need? An inciting action. Some kind of conflict. Why is this story being told and not just washed into the blur of the mundane? And B, well, every play needs players, does it not? So, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to represent the differing sides of our interaction here within our freshly crafted sandbox. And I want you to understand, as a game store nerd who had to leave so many minis on the shelf and was brokenhearted every time, I feel you if you're out here and you don't got money to get the minis. Like, I would love to own every piece of amazing pewter that I have ever seen, but the fact is it ain't like that for most of us. And, like I was showing before, if you really need to, you can draw them on the board, whether that's foes or allies. I've seen games where we move pieces of paper around another piece of paper with the map drawn on it. If you're like me and minds and big nerds about it, grab your handful of cool Lego guys that you've been wondering, okay, how am I going to put these in something cool? Now is your chance to put those Legos in. And that especially goes for your player minis. When it comes to your player minis, the most important thing is your players being able to say, that's me in the game. Here again, I've seen it played with pieces of paper. I've heard stories of people using handfuls of pocket change with letters sharpied on them. I've seen people use various colored blocks, all the way up to the amazing Critical Role games and the illustrious tabletops and amazing miniature worlds that have been created out there. All the way to the top, all the way to the bottom, it's the same at the very, very core. It's about having that in-world representation to loose that creativity and having that agency represented there physically somehow, some kind of presence there within the game, both for the players and environmentally for your game masters. So, play with what you got. If you've got some cool Lego minis, these are just some randoms that I grabbed out of my various Legos that I thought, yeah, those look like they could be concert and or tavern goers. Boom, there we are. Some various monsters that could act as all sorts of mobs, whether that's a boss mob or all the way down to a generic zombie. Hey, we've got it covered there. And the breadth and the scope of that intricacy, that's up to your imagination. Additionally, when it comes to things like accessories, whether the monsters have them, whether the players have them, here again, it's all about being able to provide that little bit of representation. It's about being able to cast that image from your mind as the game master, or as the person who's creating the game, maybe even if you're not running the game, but if you've put it together, about being able to cast that image from your mind to the minds of the people around you in order for them to help enrich those details with what their minds do. So, all of that is to say, if you're playing with dry erase, if you're playing with scraps of paper, if you're playing with minis, all the way up, all the way down, do what feels good there, and get yourselves in the game. Alright, dice rollers. We'll roll again soon. See you in the next one.